What's up, guys? Today Spud's gonna be on another night for the first time in a while. I'm going to replace the passenger side front and rear wheel bearings and the control arm bushings. I'm gonna do the rack and pinion bushings and potentially do the rear brakes, seeing how it looks. Give a bunch of checkouts on some fluids. I'm gonna pump up the rear air shocks and see if I can't find where there's a leak. It's got a slow leak. I filled them up, I think Monday or Tuesday at about 100 PSI, and it's dropping down a little bit. You can see on the other side it sits up higher because of gravity and angles and yada yada yada. But anyway, so I'm gonna do that, and I got a couple of other little odds and ends to knock out. I got a long road trip planned out for this car here soon, so I wanna make sure she's in tip-top shape before I head out. So yeah, let's go play musical cars and get this in the garage and get her on jack stands. Well, she was definitely stuck in there. Took a little more hammer swings than I had anticipated, but thanks to some good old-fashioned coil, a little bit of waiting, she finally popped right out. I'd say she's didn't really sound too bad rolling it by hand, but I was rolling it in the car. You could hear a little bit of grinding going on. So this race also has a little bit of scoring going on in there. So yep, time to heat them up and knock them out. Alright, well, she's finally off. I nicked it a teeny little bit. Oh, don't mind me, I'm just throwing stuff. I nicked it a teeny little bit with the chisel, but I ain't too concerned about it. So I'm gonna put the bearings in the toaster oven, get them nice and toasty, and drop them on down. Stay tuned. Well, the camera angles were pretty crappy, so it probably won't end up in the video, but basically what I did was had my toaster oven set on, cooked the bearings in there, waited and checked them with my Harbor Freight temp gun, and when they were about 260, I just slapped them on and hit them down with the chisel. So yeah, all set. I'm gonna go slap this axle back in and keep on rolling. All right, well, time to slap the axle shaft back in. That seal don't look too bad. I should really change it, but I'm really just gonna be lazy and not change it and see if that bites me in the ass. I'm gonna plan on bringing a bunch of gear out with me on the road trip, so I'm not super concerned about it. So let's get these axle shafts slapped back in. Before I knock up. Alright, well, this bearing feels pretty tight, but I'm gonna still pull it off and see how she looks. I don't know if these have ever been changed, and judging by the other 3 wheel bearings I've done, I don't think they've been changed at all. So I'm gonna quick mark right about, as the Canadians say, where that all lines up. And I'm gonna pull this thing apart and see how she looks. One thing you Tercel guys might have noticed is that these are vented rotors. I'm running the MR2 brake conversion on this thing. These are rotors off of a 92 Tercel, and these are Toyota MR2 brake lines and calipers. There's a write-up on the forum on how to do this conversion by the member Petros, and it is an amazing conversion. I would 100% recommend it. I put the MR2 booster in this car as well, and it's a night and day difference. And apparently I'm dripping a little bit of coolant over there, so I'm gonna have to look into that. Maybe it's from the heater core. But yeah, here's a little washers that I run. A lot of guys make like a homemade spacer, but I'm no machinist. I can barely brush my teeth most days. Just kidding, just kidding. But I'm definitely not a person capable of doing those types of things. So, yep, let's keep rolling. This bearing really doesn't spin bad at all. It spins smooth, it's not very noisy. There's a little bit of rust buildup. I'm really tempted to just not change it, but I guess I'll just not be lazy and change it out. So, yeah. speed blast. Car. Alright, a couple of hits with the chisel. After torching her off, she came popping right out. So I'm going to let everything cool down because everything's a bit warm, slap some new seals in it, slap the new bearings on, and slap her back together. Stay tuned. Alright, well, I didn't really install or record the video of me installing the bearing races and the seals because I struggled pretty bad with it last time a little bit, just fighting some stuff. So got it all dialed in now. I'm going to go slap it on the car, tighten her down, and see how she does. Hopefully you're not watching this as an actual instructional video, because it's not. I'm having fun recording videos and trying to clean while I'm talking to you guys. So I will link 2 videos in the description. Both these videos are done by Robert Walker. He's a Tercel 4-wheel drive member who's active on the page and the forum, and he has great videos on how to do the front and the rear wheel bearings. Obviously you saw how I did them. It's a little bit different, but his way's definitely a safer route to take. So I will link those in the description, and you guys can check those out if you need help. So see you guys in a bit. Well, the GoPro died, so I'm going to finish this up with my mobular device for now. Got all the wheel put back together, got the wheel bearing torqued down, get the cotter pins all in. It definitely needs an outer tie rod end, so I'm going to plan on ordering some tie rod ends for this car. I've never done them. I've had it for 2 years and over 20,000 miles, I believe I put on it so far. But I did notice when I pulled in the garage that I had a little bit of a wet spot of coolant down there. There's a bunch of other oil stains everywhere, but you can see it right there. It's the bigger one. That's just oil, and that's just me spilling from popping the cap off. But so came over here, popped the hood, noticed it's definitely a little bit low, so I put my pressure tester up here. I think I got it at about 13 psi right now. Yeah, 13, 14-ish, give or take. So give everything a quick once around, and found the culprit right there. So looks like I got a little bit of leaking going on around these fittings right here. So I'm going to tighten up these hose clamps and see if that takes care of anything. It's leaked here a few times before, so it might just be these cheap Harbor Freight hose clamps, but so, alright, knock that out, and then I'm going to go take her for a test drive and see how she does.